Okay, so before I play this video, I want to give you a little bit of background information. I've been on a spiritual journey my entire life. I can't, even as a tiny, tiny child, the farthest memory that I can remember, I've been on this journey. But for the last year, it's intensified to where I've been doing mind training, which is basically undoing all of the old belief systems. And because you can't see what you don't believe, even if it's there. That's how the mind works. And so you have to get rid of all of that junk before you can start really making any progress. So, and that's what I've been doing for the last year every day. And so, once you start to do this, you can see things that you couldn't see before. And once you see them, once you understand them, you can often explain them to other people unless they're revelations which are interpersonal. And if you try to explain them, they just sound like gibberish to other people because they're interpersonal. But anyways, so that's what I've been doing. And recently I asked the question, I asked these questions about certain things that we believe. And some things, there are things that we believe, and then you have what the masses believe, and then trying to make some kind of, sense out of that. So, like, for example, I can say, I believe in this thing, but science and everybody says that it's this. So, what is the actual truth of this? Okay? Because the ego is always going to answer, and the ego doesn't know anything. And the ego is going to answer out of the mouths of other people and all of this other stuff. So, like I said, you have to work on that. You have to purify yourself, not in the sense that you have to be sinless, because again, that's one of those things that people don't understand what sin actually is. But anyways, so it's this whole undoing. So what I asked was about, and I'm not sure exactly when I asked it. It could have been a couple days ago, definitely no more than 2 weeks ago. But I asked the question about the Christmas star. Now, of course, if you do research, and this has always been this way, they say that it was a planet. Some say that it was a planet that appeared there. Others say, and they'll even tell you the day, which is funny because, they're saying it appeared on this day. But if you look up the day Jesus was born, they don't know what day Jesus was born. So it's like, okay, so how do you know that this is what happened? It's like, you know, it's a range of like 33 years is what the internet says. So anyways, so I knew that what they were saying wasn't true, and it kind of came to me, the thought that a star couldn't actually guide anyone anywhere. And it's the first time I ever thought that. But a star itself couldn't guide anywhere, because if it's a star, stars are, however, according to science, billions or whatever light years away. So anyone that's on that side of the earth when it's up there is going to see it literally for thousands and thousands and thousands of miles. So how do you follow it? And if you follow it, it's just going to keep moving, because they move faster than you can walk, or even on a camel or a donkey or whatever. So it can't lead you to a specific location on Earth. So I knew that couldn't be it. So, I asked about that. It's like, well, what is that? And then last night, I live in an apartment. It's 2 stories, and the top is like what they would call a penthouse in the United States. So the fireworks went off, and I was looking at them on the lower floor out the balcony, and I'm like, some of them were hard to see, and I'm like, why am I looking here? I'll just go up there, and I can see the whole city. So I did. Now, I'm looking for something, and generally when you're looking for something, you will overlook other things for that. You won't see them. But almost immediately, I saw a star in the sky, out of place. And what I mean by out of place is my mind said, that can't possibly be a star because it's not where stars are. Where I live, you can see Greece on a clear day. And so I couldn't see Greece, but I could see the star. You see what I'm saying? So stars would have to be behind Greece because that's the sky, right? So this star, I could locate where it was, and it's about 5 kilometers from my house. I mean, I literally could walk there. There's a little island, and it was kind of off to the side of that, but no farther. Like it wasn't behind that. And that wasn't the only strange thing about it. It also looked like the Christmas star. Let me show you what I mean. So, of course, there were no cameras back there to depict them, but the Christmas star is distinct. See how it kind of, like sometimes it kind of looks like a cross. Like, see this picture here. And this one here. But it always has that thing that goes down. And, of course, none of these look the same. But it's clear that it's in our consciousness that this star had a different shape than normal stars, because this is not what we see in the sky. We don't see a bunch of little crosses in the sky. And of course it wasn't, this is art, and it's made to like accentuate it and make it stand out. And so that's what it looked like. It looked like a star that kind of had like these tails where it was, from top to bottom, it seemed to be longer. And then it had these rays that came out to the sides that weren't quite as long, but not like you see a typical star. And I had my phone on me, so I decided to photograph it. Now, when you see this, your ego is going to provide all these answers and all these explanations of what it is and what it could possibly be. And like I said, the ego doesn't know anything. But it's going to answer anytime you ask. So, and I know because that it does. I have one too, and that's what it was doing. So I'm messing around trying to find out how I can, because I want to show this to my husband, who wasn't home, and I went up there to see fireworks. That was why I went up there, obviously. So, and I was like, well, can I get it from the side more? If I move over here, because it's a really large terrace. If I move over here, will I be able to get a different angle? And I was doing all of this stuff, and I mean, had already recorded it. Then of course I wanted to see if it was, what does this look like compared to a star? Because this can't be a star. Even though it looks exactly like a star, it's just hanging in the air, just like a star, but it's just way too far down. And if you look, I'll show you that in just a second. It cannot be a star. Where it is at, it cannot be a star. So I pan up, to look at the stars, And something else crazy happened that shouldn't be able to happen was I was able to actually photograph the stars like I was using a high-powered lens, which my phone is only 12 megapixels. It shouldn't be able to show. I mean, if it gets little dots in the sky, that should be impressive on a 12 megapixel camera at night. But anyways, so let me show you. And I'm going to zoom in, which I can do with this. So hold on. Let me, for sound's sake, so you can see, you can hear the fireworks in the background. And like I said, I went up with the intention to look for fireworks, and this was so prominent that it caught my attention, and I stopped looking for fireworks. See how far? It's not that far up. This is an island. Well, actually, it's not an island. There's an island right behind it. It's a little mountain with houses, houses. See, that's the city. See, it's not that far up. Certainly not far enough up to be a star. Now, let me show you something else. I'm going to compare it. I'm going to turn the sound off now. I'm going to compare it to an actual star so that you can see the difference. But first, let's zoom in on it. Now, I do want to explain that the moving from side, it isn't moving at all. It is completely still. But as you zoom in on the video, which you can't see from the naked eye, you can see the star itself is kind of not solid, I guess. Here, I'll show you. See what I mean? So that moving around the screen is me not holding my phone steady because I'm not on a tripod, but you can clearly see that it is moving. Trying to zoom in on it to get closer there. You see? And that would explain the rays that shoot down and out from it, because it isn't, like I said, it's not it isn't round like, wait, not that one. That was me showing a star, which I'll show you that one in a minute. Okay. So it's not round. See? And it's also just white light. Now, these things have been seen all throughout human history. In fact, what they were seen during World War II, I believe they call them the Foo Fighters. They've been seen when people have tried to launch nuclear missiles. Wait, did you see that? That really jumped up. Didn't notice that before. But you see how it's... And this shouldn't... This is a cell phone. This is a 12 megapixel cell phone at 10 times zoom. You can tell when I get distracted and I'm looking for something else because I'm not holding. It just kind of disappears out of it because I'm looking to find some kind of landmark or something like that to show. But do you see what it's doing? Now, I could follow that there. I could follow that to that exact location. Because I can tell by looking... Oh, there it is. Can you see that? See how it comes down and out to the sides? I don't know if you can see that well. wonder if I cut it and, hold on, expand just that part, if it'll make it clearer. Edit. Edit. That's just a pen now. Okay. Alright. But I can see it. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see that it seems to be longer. And like I said, kind of cross-shaped. So, and see, it's not that far up. And it's just sitting there in the sky. And notice its complete lack of color. It is white. And you might think, well, stars are white. But I'm going to show you that that's actually not true by showing you a star. But look at that. Focus on the object itself, not it moving across the screen, but on the object itself. And notice all the movement that it has. And that, it's just doing that. Okay, so now I'm going to show you an actual star. Hold on. Now this what I'm about to show you is also another miracle. I've been trying to find somebody who has the same phone that I have, because what I'm about to show you should be impossible. But I videotaped a solar eclipse, and on a 20 megapixel phone, and it just looked like a freaking blob. And that's the moon, which is supposed to be far closer than the sun. And in fact, I even have footage, and I'll show you that later, where I actually photographed the moon, and the moon isn't this clear. So that's what's crazy. I'm able to pick up with my phone only what I'm looking for, which is proof that this is a star or not a star, or what is it? You know what I'm saying? I can pick up things that are supposedly light years farther away when I can't pick up the moon. I can't even zoom in on that island. You know what I'm saying? On that mountain. I can't zoom in on those buildings, which is what I wanted to do, but my camera won't zoom that far. But it was able to zoom in on that. So, you know, in my battle with my ego to try to figure out what this is, I decided to film what was an actual star so that I can compare the two and see if there was a difference between this, which couldn't be a star in my mind, even though it looked just like one. So I scrolled up and I saw this. Actually, that's a frozen. I took these. This was freezing the star, which doesn't come out very well because I'm using a different device. This is taking a picture from a video, which never really turns out very well. There we go. Okay, so, well, that's the same thing. Okay, so this is a star. And I have a couple of them in here, and you'll see they're colorful. And they're not, you can tell the difference between them, even though you shouldn't be able to see the difference between things that are so far away because you're on a camera. You shouldn't be able to tell how far, you shouldn't be able to see a difference. You shouldn't be able to see some stars through the same camera much clearer than you can others, but that is something that I discovered. So let's look. So this is an actual star, and that's what stars look like. So while it does go white sometimes, it also changes color. And the fact that it's getting bigger and smaller, that has nothing to do with the way that I'm holding the camera. That has to do with, hold on. That has to do with the star itself. It looks like a star, and then it gets really big, and then you see all these shapes and colors and all of this other stuff. So when I first looked at it, it was like, okay, it kind of looks the same as that one. And then it just completely, speed it up a little bit to there. See, this is a different star. And so I'm not zooming. This is on 10 zoom the whole time. So it's like it will, let's see if I can get to another one. Here we go. So this is actually showing a bunch of different stars and how they behave. And you can see they're not all the same. So as I'm focusing on different stars, the colors change, how bright they are change. And you can tell, like this one, I'm focusing on the same star, and its intensity is getting stronger and lighter and stronger and lighter. So here I found the moon. See? That's the moon. I should be able to get that a lot clearer than a star. Because it's the moon. It's supposed to be far closer. That's the moon. That's the quality of the moon. See? It's crap. And even pictures itself of stars, which I have here, they're crap. Same device. These are stars photographed with the camera on full zoom, 12 megapixel. You can see a little that there's light around this, but it's certainly nothing like the videos. It also should be impossible. This is where I'm actually taking it from. It also should be impossible with that much light noise to pick it up at all. Just look at all the light that's underneath. Now, in this, it's gone, which is another thing that indicates it wasn't a star, because they don't go. Now, I'm not sure exactly when it went, and I didn't see it leave because, like I said, I guess I didn't expect that it would. And so then I went back and I thought something is obscuring it or whatever. I didn't know. You can see that there's some type of clouds in the sky, but I looked really closely to make sure that it wasn't hidden by any of those. And that's when I saw the moon. You see how it's picking up the rays off of the moon, which is another thing that's quite fascinating. At first, this might look like the same, star that I first spotted, but it isn't. And this is what when I photographed and videotaped a normal star, this is what I saw, which is what you expect to see, right? What I didn't expect to see is when this started happening. And I could see that on my screen. I could see it changing on my screen, going from that little white light to this massive like it just was like it would just explode out and have all these details. So this is a different star, and all the stars are different, which I also think is very unusual. Let's speed up to another one. Okay. Huh. See? Gotta locate him first and then zoom. That's a star. And like I said, it's a miracle that I am able to pick up the star on my phone. And if you go, there's a camera out called the Nikon P900. I have that camera. And it actually does a better job. It actually it doesn't do a better job. It will pick it up too, but that's 200 zoom magnification, plus the lens that's on it, which is really long and zooms out. Then you add on top of that the 200 magnification. This only does 10, and the camera is it's not a big lens. It's in a flip phone. It's in the Samsung Flip. So like I said, this should be impossible, but I have tons of video of it. Okay, and here's more of the original out of, no, this is a different star, sorry. So see, looks like a normal star, and then it just goes boom and shows you all this other stuff. Which, while I saw these on people on YouTube photographing them, you never saw the explosions of them coming out. It was just like you could see the star clear, like when I blow this up, but it just kind of floated around the sky. I mean, floated around the screen. That, did you see that? That. So, okay, here we go. Watch. So it's just sitting there. Did you see that? It just exploded out and did that. And started showing all of these colors and everything else. And I could see that on the screen. Pause it, see? And if I just keep pausing it, you can see it's changing to all these different shapes and all these different colors. If you put this on a smart TV, on a big screen, you'll be able to see it even better. Because I'm blowing this up where that wouldn't be the case with on a smart screen. Like I'm blowing it up bigger to make it easier for you to see on a phone. Look at that.